Traveling sets my soul on fire, and if you're here watching this video, I'm gonna assume that you feel the same way. If you love to travel and you want to do more of it, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be extremely expensive like everyone thinks. In this video, I'm gonna go over how you can save hundreds of dollars while traveling. And I'll be breaking this video up into two sections, with the first section being how to save money before you actually leave for your trip, and the second section being how to save money while you were actually traveling on the trip. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, how to save money before you go on your trip. So the first thing you have to do when you are going on a trip is to figure out, well, where do you want to go? So number one is to find out where you want to go using this website called Skyscanner. Skyscanner will let you find cheap flights from your home airport, and if you don't know where you want to go, then that's fine too, because you can use this anywhere option, and it will then just list out flights to anywhere in the world leaving from your home base airport. Skyscanner is more of a search tool which helps you find the flights, but then you would still go to the website directly to actually book your flight. So it's actually pretty comparable to Google Flights if you look at it in that way, and that it provides the same concept of searching for flights, but then still having to go to the airline's website to book the flight. So Skyscanner is really good for helping you to figure out where you want to go, because you're able to see where the cheapest flights are from where you're based. And two, it also gives you just the cheapest options in general. Tip number two is to keep track of your flight price even after you have booked your flight. If you book a flight through either Delta or Southwest Airlines, immediately turn on a price alert for that flight. If you get a notification alerting you that the price of your flight that you already booked has dropped, then you can go on and head over to the Southwest or Delta apps and pretend as though you're going to change your flight, but instead try to book the exact same flight, and you will notice that your account will get credited for that price difference. So for example, let's say you booked a flight 3 weeks ago from New York to Chicago for $350, but now that you're only 3 days out from that flight, the price for that same flight dropped to $250. So you can just go in, pretend you're booking the same flight again, and you will actually get credited that $100 difference in your account. And you can use this credit for a future flight. This can really save you a ton of money, so please make sure you're doing this, especially if you're flying either Delta or Southwest. Tip number three, if your travel plans are pretty last minute or spontaneous, use Hotel Tonight to book your hotels. Hotel Tonight offers amazing last minute deals at top rated hotels. If you're booking a hotel for literally tonight, you can snag some pretty awesome discounts, but as I said, this does require some more spontaneity and flexibility in your travel plan. I wouldn't recommend this if your entire itinerary revolves around where you're staying, and if you're a huge planner and have to have everything pre-planned out. I know this can be a little bit like living on the edge, but you can really save a lot of money using this website in terms of you will get a lot of bang for your buck, because you can be getting 4 and 5 star luxury hotels for a discounted price. You can also download the Hotel Tonight app for even better deals. Number four, this is kind of another spontaneous one, but use a website called Hotwire to book your hotels also. And let me tell you, with Hotwire, you can save so much money and get luxury hotels. It is wild. Hotwire offers something called opaque pricing, which means that the hotel name is hidden until you book the hotel. So you are solely booking based off of the price and the general location. And Hotwire is actually great because now when you're going to book a hotel, it will actually give you 3 hotel options and say, hey, you will end up with one of these 3. Back in the day, they wouldn't even give you these options. You would just book based on the price and the general location, and you get what you get. But now they actually show you which of 3 you could possibly get, which is pretty cool. But let's take a look at an example here. Okay, let's pretend that I want to book a hotel in Singapore. So I'm just going to enter in my information, my dates, and let's do the search. Let's see what pops up. Okay, and now you can search by and narrow down the actual location area or the neighborhood that you want to stay in. So I'm going to select the Orchard Road area. It's kind of like the Fifth Ave of Singapore with all the shops and restaurants. And this is actually where I stayed last time I went to Singapore and really loved it. So let's see what comes up. When I filter by that area, these are the various hotels on the left that show up. And as you can see, you cannot see the specific hotel name. It just says that it's a 5-star hotel or a 4.5-star hotel. and the location and the general location along with the price. And now what you can do is you can just go into the one that suits your budget. So let's pick this first one. Okay, and there we go. And this is what I mean when I was saying earlier that Hotwire actually gives you the 3 potential options of hotels that you could get when you book. So you know that you will definitely be getting one of these 3. So if you're okay with that, you can go ahead and book. And look at this. This is an incredible price, $169 a night for a 5-star hotel in Singapore. I just feel like that's really unbeatable. And these are some of the top names of hotels in the game. So you know you're going to be sleeping in luxury and getting really great service and a really great experience. Number 5 is to exchange your currency with your bank before your trip. Now, of course, this is if you're going on an international vacation outside the US and you know that you want to have some cash on hand. Instead of getting to the country that you're traveling to and searching for an ATM and using your debit card to pull out cash, just do it through your bank beforehand. This way you will, definitely get the best exchange rate. Your bank will always give you the best exchange rate. And 2, you will avoid any sort of fees, transaction fees, foreign fees, or just take ATM fees, which can really rack up while you're abroad. Most big banks like Bank of America and Chase let you do this online. So you just go on their website and you place the order for currency online, and then you can go to the bank branch and pick up your currency before you leave for your trip, and you don't have to think about it after that. Again, getting currency from your bank beforehand will ensure you get the best currency exchange rate. Tip number 6 before you leave is to utilize discount cards and passes. If you have a general idea of things you want to do, places you want to go, things you want to see like museums or boat rides or trains and buses that you want to take or tours that you want to go on, then you can book all of these in advance. If you book them in advance, you can usually get cheaper prices online rather than showing up on the day of and buying the tickets at the train station or trying to book a tour the day of or through your hotel. They usually jack up the price. I love to use websites like Klook and Viator, which I'll link down below in the description for you to check out. I have used these websites for decades to book tours and tickets and whatnot, and it's always cheaper and always saves me a lot of money. Bonus tip is that you can even use Klook to book bullet trains in Japan if that's where you're going. Okay. Now, here are ways to save money while you are actually traveling, while you're on your trip. Tip number 7 is to bring your own water bottle and snacks. When we're traveling, we get super dehydrated, especially if you are traveling on an airplane overseas or you're out walking all day, getting your 20K steps in a day, trying to see everything. You get so dehydrated, and it's so important to keep drinking water. But instead of buying water every time you're out and worrying about it, as soon as you land and get to your hotel, go to the closest grocery store or convenience store and buy gallon bottles or the really large water bottles and just fill up your water bottle every single day. This way you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to be buying water 5 times a day when you're out, and this usually ends up working out to be a lot cheaper than buying individual water bottles all the time in the touristy locations. A bonus tip would be to also buy some snacks while you're at the grocery store or convenience store and bring these with you instead of buying snacks at the tourist hotspots where you know the prices are always jacked up. Tip number 8 is to always pay in the local currency. You will notice a lot of times when you're out shopping or at a restaurant and you're using your credit card to pay, the little machine thing or the cashier will ask you if you would like to pay in USD or the local currency of the country that you're in. Always pick the local currency because this will ensure that you get the best exchange rate and the cheapest exchange rate. Because if you choose to pay in US dollars, then you run the risk of overpaying. So take my word on this, just pay in the local currency and this will end up saving you some money. Number 9 is to use public transportation unless you are traveling with a large group. If you're going on a city vacation like to London, Paris, Tokyo, Singapore, then chances are that these places have very vast public transportation systems. Your best bet is to use the trains and buses to get around because 1, they're usually very efficient, 2, it's the cheapest option, and 3, it's very fast. The only caveat is if you're traveling with friends or people that you would split the cost with, then taking an Uber might be worth it because that would probably end up being just like $2 to $3 if you split it amongst a few people. So that would probably be a little bit more cost effective. But again, that's a case by case basis. Tip number 10 is to avoid foreign transaction fees with your credit card. While you are on your international trip, make sure that you bring a good credit card along with you that does not have any foreign transaction fees. And I say this because a lot of credit cards out there there will charge you a minor fee every single time you use your credit card to transact. So every time you're shopping, every time you're at a restaurant, every time you're buying coffee with your card, you'll get a minor fee, and this can really add up. You'll notice that you might even end up spending a few $100s on fees at the end of your trip if your credit card is charging you the fee. Make sure that you have a good credit card that does not charge you anything when you're out of country. This way you can be enjoying your Italian coffee in Rome without worrying. Now, if you don't know which credit card you should be bringing on your trip or what is a good travel credit card, then don't worry, because that's exactly what I go over in detail in this video here, where I go over the top 5 best travel credit cards out on the market today, which do not charge you any bogus foreign transaction fees. So I highly suggest that you go ahead and check that video out next. I'll catch you in the next video.